Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Inkster Planning Commission meeting for December 19th, 2023. The time is 6:32 p.m., and we are officially calling this meeting to order. Roll call, please. From the Planning Department, we'll need roll call.
Let me pull up my list.
No problem. And the new commissioners were sworn in, so we are current. Commissioner Mac Willis does have an excused absence, by the way.
Okay. Commissioner McDaniel,
Present.
Commissioner Williams,
Present. Oh,
Which
we have
one?
two.
Oh.
Which one?
Commissioner Tanya Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Ashley Williams,
Present.
and we noted Mac Willis has an excused absent. Chairman Chisholm
Present.
and Mayor Nolan.
Present.
Thank you.
And let the record show that we do have 6 members out of 9 present. We do have a quorum. Has everybody had an opportunity to review tonight's agenda?
Yes.
Alrighty, great. Are there any additions or subtractions? Hearing none, the floor is open for a motion to adopt the agenda as is.
Motion to adopt agenda as is.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We're down to item number 3, adoption of minutes. Item 3A, adoption of September 25th, 2023 meeting minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any additions or subtractions? Hearing none, the floor is open for a motion to adopt the minutes as is.
Motion to adopt the minutes as is. Support.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We're down to item number 4, first hearing of the public. This is for items not scheduled for a public hearing, but on the agenda. So that will speak to everything under new business. Item A, case number 23-13, text amendments to allow auto sales in the town center district. Item B, and again, we're under new business, so that would be 7A. 7A, 7B. Case number 23-24, special land use, smoking lounge at 3810 Inkster Road in the B2 Thoroughfare Mixed Use District. And item 7C, case number 23-15, site plan conversion of existing residential home to commercial smoking lounge at 3810 Inkster Road. I guess that's weird because those are actually 2 of those. The text amendment and the special land use are both under public hearings, as well as, in a way, the site plan. Why not? If there's anyone here from the general public who wishes to speak to any of those items I just listed that are under new business, please approach the podium, state your name for the record. I'm sorry.
I apologize, Chairman.
Go right ahead.
If I may, I understand that it's a little bit redundant, but
Yes.
for the sake of having a separate public hearing, acknowledging that we are fulfilling that requirement and then listing it for actual action under new business, I would suggest that the site plan be the only item so that we can actually organize the public hearing and take note that when those other items, we have the public hearing, we're actually looking for public comment at that point. So maybe just entertain for the site plan.
Thank you for that. So we're gonna scratch those other 2 items for discussion right now under item 4 for first hearing of the public. And we're just gonna allow the public to speak to case number 23-15, site plan conversion of existing residential home to commercial smoking lounge at 3110 Inkster Road per the recommendation of the planning department. So if there's anyone here from the general public who wishes to speak to those matters at this time, please approach the podium, state your name for the record, and also let the record show that we have Commissioner Cheryl Hayes Bradford present. At this particular time, because the rest are listed under public hearing. So when the public hearing is open, the public will have an opportunity to speak to items 7A and 7B. We haven't opened the nope, ma'am. We have not opened the public hearing yet. We are really at a first public comment, if you will. And since item C is not under public hearing, we're only gonna speak to item C, allow the public to speak to item C right now. But when we open the public hearing, you will have the opportunity to speak to both item A and item B. It's just for redundancy purposes, if you will. So it's not speaking at this point and speaking at the public hearing on the same items. That's all. And it seems like no one from the public has approached the podium, so we will move down to item number 5. We have 2 items under public hearing. Item 5A and item 5B. Case number 23-13TA text amendment to allow auto sales in the town center district. Conduct a public hearing for the consideration of amending the zoning ordinance to allow auto sales in the town center district. The floor is open for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and
Support.
seconded. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The public hearing is now open. So item 5A, case number 23-13, text amendment. Text amendment to allow auto sales in the town center district. Conduct a public hearing for the consideration of amending the zoning ordinance to allow auto sales in the town center district. We'll hear from the planning department first, then we will go to the general public and ordinance body, whichever way you all prefer. Ms. Dixon and or Mr. Dotto, you're on.
Thank you, Chairman. The packet includes both the application for the text amendment as well as a brief memo with the planning department's review of the proposal. So on October 11th, 2023, the property owner at 27005 Michigan Avenue, listed as Mohammed Saab, submitted an application to amend the zoning ordinance to permit auto sales in the town center district. The application includes a letter explaining that they would like to build a future dealership at the site with an online car sales company that specializes in rebuilding lightly damaged vehicles and retailing them on the internet. They do not plan to do any major repairs. That's why they're seeking just the auto sales component. And they estimate that this will bring 12 to 15 full-time employees and 30 contracted workers into the site. And that there's a demonstrated, I guess, need for this type of use at that location. So that's a summary, but you did have the full letter to review in your packet. From a technical perspective, we reviewed this proposal. The master plan and the zoning ordinance, the intent of the town center district is described as being a vibrant mixed-use civic center that promotes a pedestrian-friendly land use strategy. Car dealerships are not typically considered to promote a pedestrian-friendly environment, and their layout typically does not promote a walkable, vibrant civic center. The idea behind the town center district is to have retail, personal services, things with a facade that customers can come and go out of these buildings. There may be a possibility of a car dealership bringing additional customers to the area. But there may be better suited districts in the town center district than the town center district. The city does allow auto dealerships by special land use in the B3 district, which is also along Michigan Avenue, but it is to the east and the west of the town center district. We also noted that in the past there has been an impact on the city's ability to deliver services in terms of the need for code enforcement and things of that nature at some of these auto sales lots and facilities. So in our professional opinion, the master plan and the existing intent of the zoning ordinance does not support the proposed amendment to allow car dealerships in the town center district. Obviously, it is this body's pleasure to give a recommendation to city council. I did want to note that the text in the zoning ordinance, section 155.049, says that auto-related businesses are specifically excluded from the town center district. So not only does it just omit it, it doesn't just say it by omission, it actually calls it out directly in terms of not supporting and discouraging that type of use. So at this point, we're happy to answer any questions, but the applicant is here this evening if you have any questions for them as well.
Thank you, Ms. Dixon. At this time, I mistakenly said this earlier, but I wanted to go planning, applicant, of course, us, and then the general public for the public hearing. So at this time, if the applicant is present, please approach the podium and state your name for the record, or a representative for the applicant.
I'm a representative for the applicant. My name is Walid Al Garib, and I'm here representing the company that owns the building.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? If you don't have anything.
You guys have any questions for us, or?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If you don't have anything to say at this particular moment, we can just switch over to the commissioners for questions, comments, concerns, and then we'll just switch over to the general public. Or you could stay right at the podium, sir. Commissioners, from my left and from my right, do you have anything at this time that you wish to ask the applicant or the representative of the applicant?
There's been no new developments since the last time we met with them, correct?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Ms. Dixon or Mr. Dotto?
So this is, we haven't discussed this matter before, at least within the last year. This is specifically to amend the zoning ordinance to even allow them to make application for a auto dealership. So at this point, they are not making an application for their actual facility. They're simply applying to amend the zoning ordinance so that they would be allowed to make that application in the future.
So I think I must be on the wrong address. Is this not the Cordon's location?
No.
Got it. Okay. That was my misunderstanding. All right.
Anything further, Commissioner Hayes Bradford?
Not at this time.
All right. Anything additional, commissioners?
I guess my question is since it's specifically not allowed in TCD, why is it in the city's interest to amend it and allow it?
Well, as Ms. Dixon said, to the east and to the west of the city, it's zoned for dealerships, I believe. There's a collision shop to where we are. We've owned the building for 6 years. It is up for sale. At this point, it's just blight. It's sitting there, weeds grow and everything. So we do have a current location that's 4 acres in Redford. And we've never had an issue with the city of Redford as far as ordinance and whatnot. We're actually looking to spend almost $1.2 million into this facility. We are the nation's #1 rebuilder of automotive sales. As of 2020, we're exclusively online. We don't do any kind of major repair aside from prepping vehicles for shipping or pickups, usually. Our customer base is worldwide. We've had customers come in from Germany, France, and everywhere else, and we ship cars all over the continent. Canada, Mexico, the United States. A lot of our sales are virtual, they're not here, and I'd say 10% of it is customers coming in to try to see what kind of operation we run. They would fly into Metro Detroit, or we would pick them up from anywhere they land, and they always come to explore the cities, what we offer, the food, and everything else. Again, we looked into this because we already own the facility. It is up for sale, so it's a chance for us to basically just occupy it and bring it to life. That's about it. Yeah. But before we spend that much money, we'd like to get approval first.
Absolutely. Anything else, Marinola? Commissioners, anything else? I guess my final question would be, because the general public normally asks this, and then of course we're gonna hear from the public.
Of course.
When you spoke of the potential of investing $1.2 million into a building.
Yes.
To just start the building up, there's no other franchise or interest that you would like to bring to the city of Inkster, spending that type of money that would be conducive?
Well, based on the location and what's around us, there's a cemetery to our left and a collision shop to our right. And the family that owns the business right now, all they do is automotive sales. They look at a different venture, sure. I'm not sure what would fit perfectly there. With the previous mayor we met, they said they'd like it to be retail. There was talks about opening like a plaza there for storefronts, but converting it to something like that would actually we'd have to gut the building for that. We'd have to, because the way it sits, it's bare bones right now. There is no electricity there, there is no water there, and the space, it used to be, I think it's a trucking company before.
Oh, wait, you said, is this the one next to Union Chapel Cemetery?
Yes,
Okay, so there used to be a furniture store in the past.
furniture, yes, furniture store, right,
Then
right.
they
There used to
caught
be
on fire and
so-
half of
right.
it was demolished.
Right, that half is demolished. I'm not sure if you guys saw the new rendering that we did, and was that presented?
Yes, that was
I did a
included
video.
in their packet.
Oh, it's in the packet, yeah. We had a video, we had engineers look at it. It's the new rendering. It's basically just bringing that building to life with a display outside, inside, parking. It's pretty efficient. There would be no cause, no disruption to traffic on Michigan Avenue, no disruption to the neighbors behind. So,
And I guess the other thing too, just to follow up what the residents normally voice to planning commission as well as city council is, they would prefer brand new car lots versus, B car lots.
Absolutely.
That's been a constant
of course,
conversation that has happened.
yeah, that would be great. I mean, it's definitely not easy to be a franchised A-lot dealer. It costs a lot of money. Is that something we would look into in the future? Of course. But in the meantime, that's where we are, because what our business is, it's really unique. Unlike any other dealership that's on Michigan Avenue, we don't advertise to the public. We don't have flags on our cars, we don't have banners flying, balloons, or anything like that. All of our business is online. I don't wanna say we're similar to Carvana of their vending machine cars and stuff, but our sales are just online and customers would just pick up their car or we ship it to them. So,
All right, thank you very much.
yeah, you're
I have
welcome. Thank you.
nothing else. Again, just to remind the general public, unless the commissioners have something that came up after, if not, all right, again, this is a public hearing, so the general public is allowed to speak to these matters. Again, this is a text amendment to allow, auto sales in the town center district. Please approach the podium and state your name for the record. So if you have any questions or concerns for the planning department, the applicant, and or this body, please do, bring it up at this time. Sir, please approach. State your name for the record.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Adam Bitar. I am an owner of a 26863 26905 Michigan Avenue. I own two buildings, well, three in Inkster, but my issue is actually very similar to Mr. Saad here, but I'm 10 steps ahead of him. I do have a question when I look at TCD and you guys doing a beautiful job turning this small area to a downtown. And I drive up and down on Michigan Avenue and I realize something. A question that I have to ask myself and you guys. How do you turn an industrial area into a downtown?
And when you.
His building is industrial building. My building, industrial. Collision. We're looking at a half a mile or maybe a mile, and most of it industrial buildings, or either abandoned building that costs too much, nobody wants to invest. When I say I'm 10 steps ahead of him, I owned this building for 4 years. I bought it used to be a window shop, industrial building. Renovated it, painted it, made it look really good, put a fence, and I was ready for business. I faced a very big problem. I couldn't find tenants. Nobody wants to come in and invest. And you asked the gentleman here, you couldn't bring, a retail shop? I actually tried. I tried to bring Subway. Subway actually did their analysis, and we got denied. I tried people who sell clothes. They weren't interested. The rent too high for them, for the area. I tried many things, and everybody, just 95% of the applicants on, for my realtor was either they want an oil change, mechanic, a car dealer. They want to do something with auto, businesses. And I just asked myself, why? Simply, I'm between a dispensary and a collision. His building is literally next door to a collision backyard of a cemetery. So when you have ownership like this, they have a property that are already set up for something industrial. I can't open it like a TJ Maxx. I'm not because I can't. No one is actually want to come and invest. So when you ask the gentleman here, oh, you're ready to spend $1 million on his building? Yes, he's ready, but he's scared. What if he want a guarantee business? I'm a step ahead of him. I made a mistake. I bought the building, I fixed it up. Now I'm sitting on it. It's literally, I can't bring anybody.
And
I tried to lease it last year, and I had problem. And the year before, we had a tenant that didn't pay rent, and just the problem. You can't get what you want. Unfortunately, I try to get Subway, Dairy Queen, for instance.
Dairy Queen's down the street already.
Dairy Queen, we had a problem. There's no alley.
Right, for driving, or for the drive-through and all.
Yes,
Just out of curiosity, you're at the old First Choice Windows?
yes.
Okay.
I bought it from First Choice Window.
Right. I remember.
Mr. Mo Majid,
I remember
4
when-
years ago.
I remember we had a conversation with them because they bought the old pawn shop and said they were moving there, and then they sold it, and that became something else. And then an additional thing too is, and the reason I asked the gentleman that is, we had Dollar General came into Inkster. They wanted to re-spot zone at Lehigh and Inkster Road. The citizens cried out they did not want it there, and what Dollar General did was they went through the site plan process, special land use process, and then they pulled out of that deal and just went into somewhere where it's permitted use. People wanted a different development there because their parent company has different stores under their belt. They said, why can't you bring that here? And they were not interested in doing so at all. But that was just,
No,
that's
I'll
why I
answer your question because I actually had a professional company look into that. When I tell you I applied for Subway, they have their own analysis company. They go in and you give them the address and they'll do their own study and research. And what they came up with, the location of the building, they look at people's income, okay? The residents, who is your customers, okay? And they were happy with one thing. We do have a walk-in traffic, but then you have to bring people in. If you have a Subway on that street, don't you want people from another block, another street, or another city to come in? They had a problem with that. So the street is not set up. Low income, industrial street next to Home Depot, Collision. Basically, people don't want to come in and eat at that specific location.
understood.
I had the biggest problem with that. Trust me, I tried.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you what. Actually, Miss Jenny here, I spoke to her, and I think I'm gonna submit an application next month.
Okay.
I have a tenant that want to turn it into a mechanic shop, and I want to give it a try, just like the gentleman here is doing.
Gotcha.
Because I have nothing to do with that building. You just deadbeat. It just I don't know what to say. I don't want to say bad investment. I'm gonna keep trying, but at least I have to try with what I can get. I know we all wish we can get what you hope for, right? But I hope that you guys can reconsider.
Okay. Well, with yours, I'd say the sky's the
Yeah.
limit. Don't count yourself out yet.
Nice cars looking, it's better than just an empty lot. No matter what's the consequences, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I saw another hand from the general public. Okay. Please approach the podium and state your name for the record.
My name is Sandra Watley. I'm an Inkster resident. If this is strictly prohibited in the town center district, why are we even considering it? Obviously, somebody had a great reason for prohibiting it, and I think that should continue. A short time ago, the city council had a moratorium on used car dealerships, any kind of car dealerships along Michigan Avenue. And that was a great thing. And I think that city council should be urged to put another one in there. Because at this point, we are not being allowed to decide our own city. Everybody with anything that's subpar brings it here, plumps it on us, and we sit there and go, well, there's nothing we can do. And all they have to do is say, we'll sue you, and suddenly we scurry off into a corner. I say at this point, we need to start developing our own. There was a plan. This very mayor had a plan for the downtown area. He had investors for the downtown area. Had he been elected the last time, this would have been this would have been completed or being in the process of being completed now. So I'm saying that all of these things that they're bringing us, this is not what we have envisioned for our city. And we can't keep allowing people to come in and do what they want to do here. We have to start doing what we have planned to do. This is not part of the master plan. The master plan didn't say fill your city up with marijuana facilities and used car dealerships. It had something in there for the citizens. And we have to start, the planning commission, as well as the council, are the two most powerful units we have in the city. So you all have to start making decisions that benefit us and not everybody, Tom, Dick, and whoever that comes in here. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. So we have a third person from the resident, please, from the audience, please approach the podium and state your name for the record.
Kimberly Faison. I would just, and I'm a resident, I would echo those sentiments. I don't think that we should be doing individual text amendments for individual property owners. And I agree that we need to see forth the vision in our master plan for our downtown. We are in the process of getting certified as a redevelopment ready community. And that is a path forward. That is something that this body and city council and many other boards and commissions can work on together to see forth the vision of our master plan. You even get to create a new master plan. And I don't support changing our codes for individual property owners. All of the reasons that we heard are to benefit the owner, and I understand those perspectives and those economic challenges, but that doesn't necessarily benefit us in the long run. It's not our vision. That's all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the general public that wishes to speak to the text amendments at this time? Oh, yes, ma'am, please.
I'm just trying to understand.
Come right up.
We're only on A, right? We're not at B?
We're at 5A. Yep. Okay. If there is no one else at this particular time, I'm sorry, I quote, yes, 5A, I quoted that right, I'm sorry. Commissioners, did you have anything additional? Anything additional from the planning department?
Just as a reminder that tonight we're making a recommendation to city council for this text amendment. Anyone can make application for a text amendment to the ordinance, so that's what you're charged with this evening.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I just want to add, the lady said it's subpar. People are bringing subpar businesses and plopping them in our city. We owned the building for 6 years. We've been paying property tax. We've been maintaining.
You need to make sure you speak it to the mic, please.
Been maintaining the building, paying property tax, and spending 1.2 million is not subpar. Ideally, I'd love to see that area as a downtown district. Ideally, we want to contribute to that area being a downtown district as being a dealer, a car dealer. But I just wanted to say that we're not plopping a subpar business and dumping it in Inkster. Because we've been owning that building in Inkster for 6 years and we haven't given up on it. And we're with you guys, whatever you guys are planning for that district. And I spoke with Derek and Jane before. They told me if this was on the east side or the west side, where it's retail there, and it would have been great. But it's right in the middle of the TCD. And I see the vision and I see the planning that's happened. But I'd like to think that we're contributing to that rather than to change that. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. And hearing nothing additional from anyone else, the floor is open for a motion to close the public hearing for item 5A.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support.
5A.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The public hearing is now closed for item 5A. We're moving down to item 5B. Case number 23-14, special land use, smoking lounge at 3810 Inkster Road in the B2 Thoroughfare Mixed Use District. The The floor is open for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The public hearing is now open for item 5A. I'm sorry, 5B. Ms. Dixon, Planning Department, and Mr. Dowdell, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. So this is an application for a site plan and special land use at 3810 Inkster Road. The subject property is an existing about 1,000 square foot building. It's a two-story home that the applicant has proposed to turn into a smoking lounge. So this, to give everyone an idea, this is just south of Carlisle, just north of Andover, on the west side of Inkster. And their proposal has, we've reviewed the proposal, and the engineering and fire department has also offered comments. And with that, there are some concerns that we have with the current proposal. Now, this is not to say that we can't overcome some of these hurdles, but there has been noted that the fire department is concerned a little bit about the fire rating wall on the north side of the building because it is 3 feet from that neighboring building. So under number 4, adequate public services and facilities, there is a little bit concern about an increased fire risk. So that would need, that wall would need to be fire tested. In regards to number 5 for the special land use standards, the smoke, fume, glare, noise, vibration, or odor pollution. Given that this is going to be a smoking lounge, there may be some odor. I know the applicant has indicated that there's going to be mechanical ventilation added to this building so that there should be a remediation of any odor or smoke coming from the building, but I think it should be noted in this part of the process. We also kind of note that the overall safety of this site, the parking that's proposed is not immediately adjacent to the building. So the proposed parking lot, and we can discuss this a little bit more in depth during the site plan review as well, but the proposed parking lot is about 280 feet as the crow flies to the northwest of the building. And there's currently no contiguous sidewalk that leads to the building from that parking lot, and there's those parcels in between the building and the parking lot are privately owned by other owners. So this would need to be remedied in terms of creating a safe access point, an accessible access point, along with some of the accessibility changes to the building in terms of allowing people with wheelchairs or walkers to access the building adequately. This is also something we discussed with the applicant, and they've signified a readiness to do so, but the building department did note during our review, as well as the fire marshal, that those are items that would need to be accomplished in order to achieve compliance. And the safety of the building would also need a reinforced floor when you switch from a residential to a commercial use. So I'm just kind of giving you the laundry list of some of the concerns that were voiced from the other departments when we go through our development review team meeting. Other than that, we don't find that to be inharmonious with the existing character because the building is going to maintain its current aesthetic and scale. It is technically, obviously, supported as a special land use in the zoning ordinance. And then the harmony of the master plan, the convenience corridor retail district, you know, we would argue kind of fits the smoking lounge's intent, but that's up for your interpretation as well. So we're happy to answer any questions, but that's a high-level overview of the special land use as our findings for that.
Thank you. At this time for item 5B, the Smoky Lounge at 3810 Inkster Road. If the applicant or representative of the applicant is present, please approach the podium at this time. And state your name for the record, of course.
Hello, my name is
evening.
Yvette Hardy.
Jesse Hardy.
Jeanette Hardy and Jesse Hardy. Thank you for being here.
Oh, you bet.
Oh, Yvette, I'm sorry. If you can speak up a little bit louder for me, I'm sorry.
Yes. I was a little bit under the weather earlier and I thought I was gonna have to cancel, but I got better.
Alrighty.
Okay, so how we came up with the smoke lounge, it was the community. They came and they said, they bought a hat at the hat shop. And they said, wow, I wanna make me wanna smoke a cigar. I was like, no, you can't smoke it in here. You mess up the hats. So we only been there a year. So me and my husband just started brainstorming. Wow, and that's how it came about. So the name, Mo Love Cigar Hookah Lounge, the name came from our dear nephew who passed away in 2004. He was graduating from Robichaud. He was at Inkster High playing ball, fell dead, had a heart attack. So 2 years after that, we've been having backpack giveaways at the church, Messiah Missionary Baptist Church. We've been doing that for like 10 years, giving away backpacks in honor of Mo Love. His name was Maurice, but nicknamed Mo Love. So that's kind of a little background of how we came up with what we came up with. So we requested the approval from the city to open up the cigar lounge, because one thing we do know in working in this community, that is a lot of people that are hurting, especially the men. They are hurting. I mean, they come in and they just unload. They unload. And we're like, wow. So when they say at Cigar Lounge, I was thinking that would be a good place where they can come and unload. Now, women like smoking cigars too, but the men is more prevalent with the men. So that's how we came up with the Cigar Lounge, because we want to continue to wrap our arms around the community and love on them and help them, because they are hurting big time. The business operation, the purpose is to offer a wide range of curated cigars for retail sales on-site consumption. The business hours will be Tuesday through Thursday from 11 to 9, Friday and Saturday from 11 to 11. There will be only 2 employees, and that will include the owner and 1 employee. There will not be any food served, any entertainment, alcohol sales, any use of cannabis, no cigarette smoking. They're on site. All aspects of the smoking lounge will be entirely within the confines of the interior leased space. The air quality control system will be installed to filter the smoke, clean the air. Therefore, there will not be any pollution from the Mo Love Cigar Hookah Lounge emitted into the atmosphere. As Ms. Dixon has stated about the parking, yes, we own a parking lot, and it is within 280 feet of the smoking lounge. So we purchased that lot in order for us to have access to our other 2 businesses, which is the hat shop and the behavior health facility. And as you all know, we're there and we're trying to elevate the minds of the people. We're trying to revitalize and beautify that area. So I work very hard on doing that on a daily basis, because these people, our people, they need help. They need help. And so me and my husband is constantly brainstorming on how to reach the people, to elevate that mindset, to get them where they need to be. It's a whole lot of them. I wish I hadn't did 20 years in prison. I wish I could change the hands of time. And I just want to be able to give them that encouragement, that hope. That's what we around there doing, giving out hope to the community. And if we can open up that smoke shop where they can come in and just let it all go, And so when they can go home to their wives and their children, and they not coming home with that built-up stress, where they feel like they feeling hopeless. That's the whole point. You can do the research. It ain't a lot of money in no cigar lounge. You know anybody that opened up a cigar lounge, became a millionaire? I don't. If you do, give them my phone number, my address. There's no money in that. So it's not about us. It's about the community. That's what it's about. It's about serving the community in the best way we know how. We're not just there headshot. We're not just there for behavior health. I care about people. I retired from the state of Michigan as a social worker. I know the needs of the people. We both used to work at the state facility, Northville Regional Hospital, so we know. We know about people and the needs of the people, and that's where our concern is. It's not about, oh, look at me, look at her. No, it's about helping the community. And then in turn, the city, that's another facility that's not creating blight, but beautification and revitalization. Because up and down Inkster Road, that's a main vein. Why am I looking at a whole bunch of blighted buildings? It looks horrible. It looks horrible. We so close to the airport, and you mean to tell me we got this whole area looking like a bomb went off? Come on, and that's just me. It makes no sense. When the city of Detroit opening up businesses every day, once a month, 5 businesses a day, the mayor cutting the ribbon. You know why? Because they got the Motor City Match money. We need to get the money here to help people like this group, to help others who want to but don't have the resources. That's what the city of Inkster is lacking. So for us to dive on somebody trying to do something, let's look at how to resolve, help them resolve how to make the reality come true. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments at this time before we turn it over to the general public?
I have a question, Chair.
Mayor Nolan.
As a fellow cigar smoker, I know we need a cigar bar in the city of Inkster, so that's no question. I'm just curious, is there a separate cigar license by the state and a separate hookah license?
Yes, it is. So the license for the cigar is basically like a tax ID to be able to buy the wholesale. Then we have to get a permit from the city in which we're residing in to be able to do that. And before, when they came up with the no smoking in the buildings, it was up under that umbrella. And then once the people began to realize, they opened that up in 2021, where we would have to file for an exemption that they can smoke inside the building. And that's where the clean air, the system that will take that smoke and kind of like an osmosis, clean it and disperse it back out, but it's not going into the community per se. And we had that system in the hat shop and in my behavior health. So this system, it takes it in, it cleans and sanitizes. So I haven't had to even shut down my program for somebody coming up with the COVID, because that system that I have, it pulls it in, cleans the air, sanitizes. So it really works. So me and my husband really can attest that system worked because we've been using it. It'll be, what would it be, like 6 months, 7 months now we've been using it.
Is there a square footage requirement for, let's say, a cigar bar license, and same for hookah, or is it?
No, it's not. I did my research, all the way up to today. Research. No.
Commissioners, anything else? All right, hearing nothing at this time, we will turn this over to the general public. This is the public hearing for item 5B, case number 23-14, special land use, smoking lounge at 3810 Inkster Road in the B2 Thoroughfare Mixed Use District. If there's anyone from the general public who wishes to speak to that matter at this time, please approach the podium and state your name for the record.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor. My name is Michelle Sample, and I am representing St. Mark's Missionary Baptist Church as one of the founding members of the church. And as you have heard, my name, Pastor Sample is my father-in-law. The co-pastor is Reverend Terry Sample, my husband. We have been in there for 26 years. Within these 26 years, we've had a little issue with the liquor store right down the block, which is right next to where said smoking lounge is going to be. We have concerns about that. The odor, the traffic, everything that goes against it. The church that I am representing is against this. The hat shop has had significant sales. We have seen the traffic. We are very pleased with that because in this area, there is not much there. But the church right now feels that the smoking lounge is not conducive to our church being in that area. We do own the land right behind the yard up until the fence. We own the 5 lots adjacent on Allen Street and the lot right behind it was the funeral, it's now the
Haunted house.
thank you, the haunted house. We own all of that. So we do have a space to give for us to keep it safe. We have a very young youth coming in and out. We do help the church and the community around that. But we are opposed of having the smoking lounge and what it will possibly more entail than what we're dealing with the liquor store and what the vaping that's coming from that. I understand cigars is completely different. I'm not going there, but we have issues with that. And our church is opposed of having this.
Thank you. I know you did address this at city council, but this is the planning commission. So if you.
I apologize, it's
No
the first
problem.
time.
I just wanted to make sure
I
you
deal
know.
with my city, Westland
I got you.
School District, that I understand. I apologize for
We had a
that.
long meeting
Faux
last
pas.
night, Dan.
Oh, we're not even
Well,
going,
we won't go there.
I was there, I spoke, yes.
Alrighty. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure, so in the event you do come to a city council meeting or anyone from the
This
church
is me.
comes, this body would be completely different
They send me to do
up front.
but I thank you very much.
Alrighty, thank you. Is there anyone else from the general public that wishes to speak to these matters? Oh, please approach the podium and state your name for the record. Good evening.
My name is Kent, and it would be nice to have a cigar bar. And I did go in that building. I got sinus real bad. It's hard for me to breathe in here now. I went in that building, and I was breathing real good because I went up there to check it out. And it would be nice to have something in there like that. Because I was breathing real good. Yeah. So I hope y'all approve it.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah.
If there's anyone else from the general public, again, please feel free to approach the podium and state your name for the record.
It's so weird to do this on this side. Kimberly Faison again. I actually was really excited to hear this proposal. I just went to a cigar bar, or lounge, I should say, had a beautiful dinner. I don't smoke personally, but it was so well ventilated that it wasn't bothersome. We don't have a lot of gathering spaces here that I can go to, and I would love to have more of them. I mean, I think community gathering spaces are what we want. I don't think that it's necessarily like a nuisance attractant. It doesn't have to be that if it's well designed. And for whatever my 2 cents is worth, in addition to being a place where people vent, it could just be a place where people just enjoy each other, like where our community just is loving on each other, so I don't think it has to be just a space where we are running away from bad things, but we're contributing to good things, so for whatever that's worth to you, and I hope you make $1 million. Let's not say that you can't. I hope you do. So I like the concept of it. And if it's well run, it doesn't have to be a nuisance to the community, so.
Thank you. Alrighty, and we do have someone else from the general public. Please approach and state your name for the record.
Once again, Sandra Watley, resident. I heard her speak of something that scrubs the air and things of that nature. How vigorously was that tested? I mean, you haven't had cigars or anything in there. You know, you haven't had like 100 people smoking a cigar at one time. So how well is this process to work? That's one of my questions. Okay, the second thing is, this is the same thing we heard when they started putting marijuana facilities in our city. And one of the reasons for refusing it was smoke, fume, glare, noise, vibration, and odor pollution. Okay, all of that has happened since then. If you don't believe me, go down Inkster Road at Cherry Hill or go down Michigan Avenue and take a deep breath. And all of those things that were supposed to scrub the air to make it viable for our children apparently are not working. So I want to know how well this will work. I'm not really all that warm and fuzzy when it comes to, let's get together and have something. That's fine. I'm concerned about the fact that the fire department has an issue with the structural, or that they have an issue with fire damage and things of that nature. Those are things that we really need to take into consideration before we just say, let's have a love fest with cigars. And I've never really heard about a carcinogen elevating the mind. That's my last one. Thank you.
Thank you.
When we talk about, and I'm glad the young lady, Faison, brought it up about coming together for happy moments, not just where you stressed out, you need to, we tested the community. We had bike night for the whole summer without incident. No police coming up there, y'all making noise, all these motorcycles up here, no problem. We started having tailgate, and we still doing it. No problem. No police, no nothing. Ms. Watley speak about the smoke. Perfect. The smoke. The program that I run, behavior health, when people go outside, smoke, run back in, especially because it's cold. So, they got smoke on them. Who don't smoke and you don't have smoke on you? You have smoke on. So I got 15 people out there. They smoking, they running back in the building. So the smoke is still on them. And I got a lady in my program, 3 people in one program, COPD. Do not have an issue because the air is being clean. It's pulling it out. Nobody is being rushed to the hospital because of that smoke that those 15 people came in from outside, had it on them, and it's all in the room. No. We come together as a safe group of people. My people are safe. That's the whole point. I make sure that they're safe. So there's no issue. So it's been tried and it's true. I got 2, they call mini splits. I got 2 on my side. My husband got 1 on his side. The man that just spoke, when he came into my husband's hat shop. He just got 1 and the air is clean. I have 2. Matter of fact, the mini splits is so good that my electrician disconnected one of my furnaces because we don't need 2 furnaces. We only using 1 furnace, and those mini splits is keeping us warm, keeping the air clean, sanitizing. It works. It works. So all of those reservations that people may have, no, as I stated before, tried and true. People love coming. When they come to the bike night, wow, do you all rent this out? No, without incident. We have had so many people, men and women, enjoy coming because we do it coming together. We feed them, we provide beverages, and they love it. And a lot of them was apprehensive because this lady said, with St. Mark, the church that we belong to, Messiah Missionary Baptist, we actually in that same organization. So we actually come together. They come and visit our church and vice versa. So the whole thing is that we don't have any incidents, have not had any incidents. A lot of people the first time coming, wow, I didn't know, because they thinking about the Stardust and all that different stuff that happened in the past. When they come, they find out This ain't happening over here. Oh, this is laid back. We really enjoy coming. Real comfortable. Y'all good people. That's what we're about. Nothing else. Nothing else. And that's all I have to say.
Alrighty, thank
Thank
you.
you all for your time.
Anything additional from the planning department?
Not at this time.
Alrighty, anything additional from commissioners, something that might have sparked Commissioner Hayes Bradford and then Commissioner McDaniel?
I have a question, cause I don't smoke, and I've never been into a situation like that. It's not my juice, as they say. But, they just sit around in the room smoking cigars? That's all that goes on?
Yes.
Literally.
And conversation.
Well, a lot of places have liquor license also, so you'll sip on some bourbon and smoke a cigar. But if you don't have a liquor license, then you're just smoking a cigar and drinking a Faygo, unless they allow people to bring their own alcohol in, which, I've seen that happen, well, I've seen that.
Is that, and I guess that's kind of I don't know, when I think of smoking and drinking and alcohol, we start thinking about things going south. Behaviors and things getting out of control. And not saying that this has to necessarily be the case. I'm just saying I don't know how this is gonna, there will be no food. No food. They just come and smoke. Okay. All right.
Can I add something as a public?
One second, ladies and gentlemen, because we are addressing the commissioners right now. We haven't closed the public hearing, but I will give you an additional opportunity to speak.
Okay. That was it. I'm just trying to wrap my head around that type of thing.
I know sometimes too, Commissioner, some confusion comes up because in Dearborn, at one point in time, you had La Hookah and Le Cigar. Le Cigar sold cigars and liquor, but next door they had hookah, and some people would come over there and smoke their cigars as well. But something happened. I don't know what happened with the laws. I don't think hookah and liquor were supposed to be in the same establishment, which was occurring, and then that door separation, all that stuff, it ended up happening, but then again, they transitioned out. So I just wanted to point that out because I know that did get brought up, and people will have those particular questions in the future as well. Should, hookah or something like that be in that vicinity?
And this is not, putting this as a cigar does not preclude the ability for them to bring alcohol in. They just can't sell
Can't
it,
sell it. Well, unless you have a liquor license.
but they could brown bag it.
I've been to cigar lounges that didn't have liquor license and was able to carry a bottle of wine or something in. But it depends on each business.
Okay. Cause that would be one of my major concerns, because like I said, those kinds of elements, when that whole liquor thing, that seems to bring a whole different dynamic to the city. We have enough trouble, and that's just my concern. But I probably be a little prejudiced because I'm not a smoker, so,
Understood.
yeah.
Anything additional?
No, sir.
Alrighty. Commissioner McDaniel, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, the packet that was given to us by our planner had some areas of concern. And I just would like to know how the applicant will be addressing these areas of concern regarding the building.
Alrighty. Applicant, please approach, and if you could address Commissioner McDaniel's questions.
Okay, I talked with the fire marshal in depth the day he came out. He didn't know if he can go in. I said, yes, you can. I want you to come in since you're here. So he walked on the exterior. I took him on the interior. So he did express about the handicap part of it. And my engineer that drew up the blueprints, we already talked about it. We would take it from the driveway, the handicap ramp, and take it through the back. So they would come in through the front driveway, and the ramp will go around in the back of the house. I just don't want the ramp in the front, and I know the look because I deal with adult foster care homes, and that's how I identify those with those ramps. Those ramps is not a good look, so I wouldn't put it in the front because I'm trying to promote beautification and revitalization for the city of Inkster. I would not do that. That's not a good look. Yes, you wanna accommodate the handicap, but you still wanna consider. I got the city of Inkster on my mind. Everything that I do, I wanna make sure that it promotes good and not looking any old kind of way. So that's that. For the fire marshal even talked about if we have smoking on the second floor, in case of a fire, how would they get out? So we talked about doing an escape ladder. You've seen those on buildings. So we will have the escape ladder from the second floor coming down. You can let it out and they can easily get out. So that's how we will handle that. Firewall, as you all stated, as Ms. Dixon stated, is a house, but it is in the B2 district. So, of course, when the house was built in 1952, they didn't think about no firewall. So we understand that. So that's not an issue to put a firewall between the hat shop and the smoke shop. That's not an issue. I've been, the building we're currently in, it was a full gut. It was, walked in that building, I'm like, Lord, how? You know, but we took one step at a time. So with this is a project, it's like, okay, we did that, we could do this. And that's where I'm at. I'm Superwoman and he's Superman. So that's what we're doing in this little small space, little house. Look like it's bigger than what it is when you go inside. It's like, oh, this is so small. But it can happen. It can happen. And it's gonna, you know why I know it will work? Because the community asked for this. We didn't ask for this. We was just happy over here with these little hats. Oh, you want this? And the community said, I'm buying this hat. I want to smoke me a cigar. You can't smoke it here, sir. So that's how we came up with it.
Alrighty. Thank you, Commissioner McDaniel. Anything further? No. All right, down to my right, I know Commissioner Williams had something.
So in regards to, I noticed that, they were stating that there will be sales on both first and second floor. So how would you be able to accommodate for the, handicap on the second floor?
So they wouldn't be able to go on the second floor. They will only be on that first floor.
Okay.
Handicap won't be allowed because there's no way, the way the house is structured, there's no way I can make space for them to go. There's no need for them to go upstairs. So we will accommodate them with the handicap bathroom on the first floor. And they will be through that ramp, through the side of the house, through the back. That's how they coming in.
Okay.
But they won't be allowed to go on the second floor.
And there will be full accommodations for you, like you said, the bathroom. It will be
Absolutely, with the
handicap accessible for
railing,
first
the
floor.
toilet, all of that, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
They have also
Commissioner
said
Davis.
in the, reinforcing the floor. Reinforcing the floor, the second floor, the fire department had something, or building department had something about reinforcing the floor. You discussed that with them too?
No, I just saw it on the report. He didn't say anything to me about reinforcing the floor. I just heard it today when she just read it off. And I read the report, but he and I didn't discuss it. Number one, the house don't even have lights, so how could he tell that the floor need to be reinforced? But that's his area of expertise. If we need to reinforce the floor, we don't have an issue with that. We can reinforce the floor. Whatever material needed, we can provide it. We can have the floor reinforced. That's not, I mean, the way, when I walk on the floor, my husband, we walking through, the house feel real sturdy, real solid. I know it was built in 1952, but the house is solid. That's amazing to me, but it's solid. So if we need to reinforce, put some extra joints, some extra metal pieces, or whatever we need to do, we can do that.
Right, now that was my own concern with the fire department was saying, the building department, what they want. If you can talk with them and see if you're gonna go through that part there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I think the state has their own requirements too. I have friends who own cigar bars. They tend to be a little strict, but if you've done your research, I guess we don't have to deal with that. Because you gotta comply with whatever the state makes you comply with anyway, so, but I know they are pretty strict. especially if you try to get two licenses at one place.
No, we're not seeking for hookah right now.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay.
No, cause hookah, the state of Michigan stopped issuing hookah license. You have to get with somebody who already have hookah license and buy it off of them.
Yep.
So again, we stepping back from that. You can consume it on site, but we're not selling it. So you bringing your own equipment, your own everything. We're not doing. But when we initially put in the name, we put Mo Love, cigar, and hookah. But we're not pursuing hookah at this point.
Oh, okay.
Same way with the liquor license. We're not pursuing liquor license at this point.
Commissioner Davis, did you have anything additional? Mayor Nolan would last speak. Did you have anything additional? Anything else, commissioners?
No.
Alrighty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, I did say I thought there were additional comments from the crowd. I know we had transitioned from the public, but there was some conversation. I wanted to at least provide that opportunity. Was there anything additional from the public?
Go ahead, I'll be after you. No, go ahead.
Somebody needs to approach. Thank you.
Adam Bitar again. I just wanna really say something about the cigar bar, to your concerns. You said something, we don't need this kind of thing here. But I'll tell you a fact, I'm a cigar smoker. A cigar smoker usually a very laid back, relaxed individual. You know, it's not a cigarette, it's not a Black and Mild, it's not nicotine. It's a pure tobacco. And when an individual's, spend $10, $20, $50 on a cigar, and tend just to have a relaxation moment, socialize, just meet another person, okay? Birmingham City had 5 cigar bars. Trenton, I can go on and name really expensive, rich cities that they have cigar bars, okay? And I would love to have that addition to Inkster. If she's doing something that's a facelift, something different, let's try it, okay? It's gonna bring you problems. Cigar smokers, they're not problem makers, okay? All they want is they want to smoke a cigar with a glass of cognac, just to relax. So I actually want to be excited. Let's do it. Let's try it. And bring in new people. See what Inkster have to offer. Why not? It's nothing to worry about. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, and I believe our last guest from the 1 and 2. Come on, Ms. Wiley, please. Ms. Wiley. Just for the record, everyone, I don't want to continue belaboring this meeting on the same topic. We do have other items we want to get to, but I just want to let you all know, that's all.
One last thing.
Go right ahead.
If you do Google and look up smoking lounges and zoning facilities, the dispensaries cannot be 200 feet close to a church, and smoking cigars, lounges like that cannot be 1,000 feet next to a church, school, or any other church edifice. You guys can look that up.
Thank you very much.
I just have questions about the service of food. She mentioned serving food. No, that's
food.
not gonna happen, because I know there's permits and things that you have to do if that is going to take place. And then the other thing was the bringing in of your own liquor.
She didn't mention that, I mentioned that.
But I'm saying, is that one of the things? And I would like to hear the list of structural and things that they came up again with, because I know they mentioned that they were too close to a building. I know they mentioned the floor.
Are you referring to the letter from the fire department?
Yeah, I'm mentioning those concerns that were had, because, technically, everybody likes a good time, but we should be concerning ourselves with how it impacts the city, the structure, and things of that nature.
Planning department, would you happen to have that readily available? If not, we will take a couple
Yeah,
of
so
minutes.
this is the, I guess, second to last page of your packet, and
You said second to the last page? I
Yeah.
think she just wanted,
Oh.
okay.
You're gonna give it to me? I can keep it? Thank you.
And I This was the list compiled from the fire marshal, and then we also had a discussion with the building department who voiced similar concerns regarding the accessibility, the occupant load with the floors. These are things that can be overcome. It's not things that they just take the right type of modification, and that takes a cost. So as a part of the transparency of this process, at this point, we talk with the applicant, and as the applicant indicated, the fire marshal actually has gone out to the site and walked through it with them, and our initial preliminary meeting, even before the applicant submitted, we had the building department representative at that meeting as well. So these are the lists of concerns, but they're not complete barriers. They're just hurdles that everyone should be aware of.
One of these says the egress door between the buildings would not count as a proper egress point. There's not enough room between the buildings. Does that mean for people to get out the door?
Ms. Dixon.
Yes, that's correct. The building does have multiple other access points, so this is referring to the north side of the building that has that 3-foot clearance with the hat shop to the north. But there's an access point on the front of the building on Inkster Road, the back of the building, and then again, this would be something that would be building code compliance, but given how small the building is, 2 access points is typically okay.
And could we get an explanation again? I heard something about for if a fire happened, people could go out the roof in a, something that you drop down. Did I get that?
Fire escape.
Fire escape.
There's a fire ladder. You ever
It's a
seen it?
fire.
They have them in
So,
houses.
no, but it sounded strange to me, so I just wanted to see, because the last thing you do is run upstairs and jump out.
No, I believe they meant if they were on the second floor, that would be an escape route.
They're on the second floor, you can throw something out of the window and climb
Fire
down.
ladder.
No, it's a permanent structure. It's a permanent ladder that, it's
Oh,
like a
it's
metal.
like, it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a
metal
thing in
ladder.
the,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
and that would be on the side of the building
South of the building.
Back,
West side of the
back.
building.
where there's not enough room between buildings?
No.
West side.
That would be on the west side of the building.
Oh, okay, well, I just needed that explained to me again. Okay,
And it's
thank
probably
you.
have an exit door too.
Going down.
So that was public, nothing else from planning, nothing else from this body. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Hayes Bradford.
I had a question about this 1,000-foot from a church situation. Have you any knowledge of that?
I do not. I've reviewed the state requirements as they're listed in the legislature for specialty tobacco retail. I'm not aware of a 1,000-foot requirement from churches. I do know of that requirement regarding marijuana, but specifically relating to cigars at the state level, I'm not aware. Now, that is something that kind of similar to daycares and other things that are licensed through the state. They will go through and make sure before they issue those licenses that they comply with those requirements. At our level, we do not have a specific requirement regarding smoking lounges and buffers from churches or other types of facilities like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything additional, commissioners? Hearing none. The floor is open for, with all minds satisfied, the floor is open for a motion to close the public hearing for item 5B.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Public hearing now closed. We do not have any unfinished business. Moving on to item 7, new business. Item 7A, case number 23-13, text amendment. Text amendment to allow auto sales in the town center district. The floor is open for a motion. And this will be to approve or deny the text amendments.
Recommend
Oh, I'm
approval
sorry, to
or
recommend
denial.
to city council. To recommend or deny to city
Recommend
council.
denial,
Either way,
yes.
the recommendation will go to city council.
Yes.
The floor is open for a motion going once.
I recommend to deny this move on the basis of our town center district, already, our master
Master
plan.
plan.
Alrighty, so is there support?
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. The recommendation is to deny this text amendment to the Inkster City Council. We're down to item 7B, case number 23-14, special land use. Smoking lounge at 3810 Inkster Road in the B2 Thoroughfare Mixed Use District. The floor is open for a motion to recommend or deny the special land use to City Council.
I move to recommend approval, not approval, recommend the proposal special land use for a smoking shop with conditions outlined in the site plan and the required conditions listed below between the building department and the fire department.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, just quick, were there any requirement, the site plan is separate, this is special
Yeah, I think
plan.
so.
Special land use.
So really just the
Just
areas of
subtract this.
concern you're worried about?
Yeah.
And whatever, okay, I just wanna make sure.
Alrighty, any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We're down to item 7C. Case number 23-15, site plan. Conversion of existing residential home to commercial smoking lounge at 3810 Inkster Road. This one is to be, I'm sorry, the floor is open for a motion
To approve or deny.
to approve or deny. And this one is not to City Council, this is right here with this body.
Chairperson,
Yeah.
if I may.
Yes.
Because we didn't discuss the site plan specifically, I just wanted to give the opportunity to present the review to the body and answer any questions there might be, especially relating to the parking. I know we touched on it in the special land use discussion, but if it pleases you, I would just a brief overview of the site plan and then allow for questions.
Actually, you are correct. Yes, because I got the new business, forgot we didn't discuss this already. So please do, we don't have a motion on the floor, so that is allowed.
So as you're familiar with the site, the building complies with all of the setback requirements and height requirements and dimensional standards of the zoning ordinance. The architectural features also appear to comply, although we have asked that they note the transparency of the ground facade. So the requirement in the zoning code is 30% of the ground floor, street facing side of the building have 30% of transparent material, windows, glass doors. We believe just from a survey that that's met, but that's just something we noted. And then we are concerned a little bit about the vehicular access and circulation. So on page 7 of the review, which I believe is about 3 double printed pages from the back of your packet. It's labeled number 5, and you'll see there's a little bit of a diagram that shows where the proposed site is and where the proposed parking lot. If there's any potential way to use the existing driveway for an accessible parking space, that might be preferential. And additionally, we would like to see sidewalk attaching that proposed parking lot that kind of fronts on Allen to connect to the sidewalk on Carlisle, so that then you can make your way down Inkster to the site. It is a little bit awkward, but just pointing this out for your consideration, just to make sure that people can actually access the site without going on other people's private property.
Right.
The landscaping, the site plan has provided the right-of-way trees that are required. There are no ornamental trees required at this width of a lot. The planted yard area complies. The interior landscaping of the parking lot would need to be determined in terms of once we get a little bit more detail regarding some of the landscape islands. But I know that the initial site plan did take into account adding 2 trees to the parking lot. So we don't have any significant concerns regarding the landscaping. The applicant has indicated they will be using just regular trash receptacles that they will be storing in the existing accessory building to handle all of the refuse and garbage. And there's no loading requirement. The parking spaces that are provided at this other lot do meet the number of requirements. So they're, by the square footage, 12 spaces are required, and the applicant has provided more than enough spaces. So the only other outstanding item would be the lighting, and there was no lighting plan submitted, so we would ask the applicant to submit a lighting plan. But generally, we feel that we can administratively review that as long as it meets the zoning code requirements. That would just be the outdoor lighting on the building or any pole lights in the parking lot. So those were the only issues really were the parking lot and the access to the building from the parking lot, other than the areas of concern we discussed during the special land use.
Thank you. Commissioners, because we just discussed this one openly, before we go into a motion, do you have any questions or concerns right now for the planning department regarding that?
Yes. Through the chair.
Mayor Nolan and then Commissioner Hayes Bradford.
Ms. Dixon, is it possible for them to create a sidewalk from the parking lot to the building without going on other people's property?
Yes, we would have a sidewalk along Allen that would then connect to Carlisle, and then you'd have to go around. So the way, this is where it gets a little bit awkward. The way the zoning code is written, it's within, the parking lot can be within 500 feet of the building as the crow flies. It's about 280 feet adjacent in that, if we measure that way. So by the zoning code, we meet that requirement. But if we're measuring by the sidewalk and how far people are going to have to walk around the block, that's going to be a little bit more than 500 feet.
It's quite a ways.
Yes, so that is, that's kind of one of the concerns that I noted, and I'm very trying to be solution oriented, and I'm not sure if there's any potential to, I know that a lot of those other parcels are privately owned, so I don't know if there's potential for shared parking access or things of that nature. That would be something that the applicant could explore. I'm not sure if they have, but that was, I guess, the major, yes, it would be that you'd have to kind of walk around the block.
I mean, let's realistically, is anybody gonna walk around the block?
They
No.
cut into it.
So they're gonna cut through, that means they're gonna walk on somebody else's property. So are these other property, if they're vacant lots, maybe people don't mind, maybe we should get some sort of agreement from them.
Joint access agreement.
Yeah, a joint access agreement, they are, they're existing parking lots as well, so it's not like incredibly unreasonable to think as a property owner, you're going to say, yeah, someone can walk through my parking lot to access your building, but that's something that would need to be addressed.
Well, I was gonna say, cause those aren't residential, that's a parking lot they'll be walking through.
Yes.
So, we do that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The other, I did not ask, but how many patrons can be in this
The occupancy load is 18.
at a time?
At a time in terms of what the building code, the Michigan State Building Code will allow. And so that's, it might be less than that, but that's by code what would be the occupancy.
And there's ample parking for that.
Yes.
On the hat shop as well. You don't have 18 people at one time buying hats, typically, I'm sure. Well, I'm not sure, you might have that kind of thing going on, but, yeah. Okay, that was my concern, thank you.
All set?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Williams.
I guess if we were to get the land use agreement and people were to walk towards the back instead of having to go all the way around, then would there need to be consideration for an access point in the back, or could it only be on Inkster Road, right?
I think the way that the parking lots, the existing parking lots that you would be cutting through, you would still come out to Inkster and then come through the front of the building. I knew there is a vacant lot kind of adjacent to the back, but just looking at it logically of how people's behavior is going to be, they're probably not gonna walk through this little corridor between the structures. They're gonna come out to Inkster Road. And I think at that point, it's not too unreasonable that you just kind of cut up the sidewalk again.
Anything else? Any additional commissioners?
I had a minute.
Commissioner Davis.
Since they gotta do the shared parking and get permission and get all that in writing, should we table this until they get that straightened out?
That is up to this body.
Or we can just make it a requirement. That's all. We don't have to come back, it doesn't have to come back to us.
Okay.
Again, it's up to this body, whoever makes the motion. Anything else additional, commissioners?
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, no, okay. Alrighty, the floor is open for a motion. And that is for item 7C, site plan, conversion of existing residential home to commercial smoking lounge at 3810 Inkster Road.
I make a motion to existing residential home to commercial smoking lounge.
To approve.
To approve.
The site plan.
3810 Inkster Road.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been properly moved and seconded. I know Commissioner Davis, you had stated a requirement that you just talked about.
Yes, oh, that's right, with the, approval of the people shared parking.
Do you still support that,
Still
the
support.
motion?
That's just support.
Alrighty. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, maybe in addition to shared parking, maybe it should be also use of right of way to
Yeah.
walk through somebody's property. As long as they say it's okay, then we don't,
Okay.
it's no issue for us, I guess. So.
Would you like that additional addition?
Yes, sir.
Is there still support?
I still support.
You just support.
I still support.
Is there any further discussion? No. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We are down to item 8, miscellaneous. It appears we have item 8A, setting 2024 meeting dates. As you all see before you, we have January 22nd, February 26th, March 25th, April 22nd, May 27th, June 24th, July 22nd, August 26th, September 23rd, October 28th, November 25th, and December 9th as the meeting dates for the Planning Commission in the year of 2024. As you all may or may not know, I know some of you were here before, some were here in the past. I'm sorry, that's the same thing. Some are here in the past and some are brand new. Traditionally, the Planning Commission met on every second and fourth Monday of the month. And as we saw how business with the planning department was and things of that nature, in the past, we modified it where we only had meetings on the fourth Monday of the month unless we needed to call a special meeting beforehand. So that's why this list looks like that. If there aren't any conflicts or any issues anyone sees, we will credit the planning department to doing their due diligence and looking over these dates and making sure we were good. Commissioner Hayes Bradford.
May 27th is Memorial Day.
Alrighty,
Thank you.
good catch. And you weren't even looking at a calendar, look at you.
Yes, I was.
Oh, well, I retract, be late my last. So that, I'm not looking at a calendar, so May 27th, that meeting would be on what following, that Tuesday or?
I would suggest that Tuesday, it would be up to this body if you would prefer to move it. We could do the second Monday as well, which would be May 13th.
Okay. So May,
Not May 13th.
not May 13th, so would you like May 28th then? Well, she said we could do that second Monday of the month, May 13th. Or if you want to just move it right to May 28th, it's on this body.
I would suggest that May 28th.
May 28th, that Tuesday, okay?
That's what I would suggest.
Is that okay with everyone? Mm-hmm. Okay, so tentatively it would be May 28th, because as we get closer, if we have business we would have a meeting. If we don't, it would be canceled. By the proper Open Meetings Act notifications and all that.
Okay.
Okay.
You said May 28th?
Yep, May 28th.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
Yes, a motion to recommend to city council, just for us to vote on it.
Just to adopt.
No,
Just to adopt.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, so if all minds are satisfied, the floor is open for a motion for setting the 2024 meeting dates with the one correction for May 28th, 2024.
So moved.
Support?
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The meeting dates are now set. We're down to item 8B, new member welcome. We have some commissioners who were reappointed, inclusive of myself. Welcome back. And that is Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Williams, Mayor Nolan from some time ago, myself, of course, Commissioner Hayes Bradford actually was not reappointed because her term has not expired yet. Commissioner Mac Willis was reappointed. And then we have two new commissioners with us tonight, which is Commissioner Ashley Williams and Commissioner Norma McDaniel. Welcome aboard. We have a lot of work to do. So please plan to be at every meeting as your schedule permits. And in the event that you cannot make it, please let us know ahead of time. That way we can make the proper accommodations. We tend to sometimes get frightful of not having a quorum, and when we have public hearings and things of that nature, we don't want to waste the applicant's time or waste the city's money by having to reissue notices and things of that nature. Not saying that you all would do that, I just wanted to make that a blanket statement. So everybody's under the equal size umbrella. Packets. So the welcome packets that were emailed out, if at all possible this evening, I know Ms. Commissioner McDaniel would like hard copies.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Williams, did you want hard copies as well?
Actually, I think it printed, well, it was emailed out, correct?
Emailed
I
out.
printed it out
You
already.
okay. Alrighty.
She got ink.
And paper. So I did, commissioners, per the basic parliamentary procedure training that we went through in the past, I had made copies for them and passed these out. Of course, I gave them out to city council as well. I made extra copies. I didn't know if anybody else needed one again, or if they didn't receive one in the past. If you wanted one or would like one, I have extras right here. Please help yourself or make it known, and you can have one. To the general public, hey, they're up here for you too. If you would like some, they're extra. Please feel free to grab one. Training, okay, moving down to item 8C, training opportunities. I talked about this, of course, with the interim assistant to the mayor. She had brought it up about one of the young ladies who works in the planning department who had brought these up, but our planning department already included in our packet. So you have training opportunities to help increase your knowledge of what your duties are here on the planning commission and just overall. You are also watchdogs of the community. So when you're going through and you see things being developed and you have questions and you know it didn't not come before this body, you have the right to ask the planning department or any commissioner up here, hey, what's going on with this? Was this something that was permitted use and going on administratively? Or is this an applicant who just popped in, bought a building, started building, and did not come through the proper procedures and protocols or before the city and is at risk of being closed until further notice? So you have one, the Redevelopment Ready Certification Virtual Academy for local officials. I would believe that is for all appointed and elected officials. That date session is January 23rd through February 27th, and the cost is free. You should take it. And then secondly, you have the Planning and Zoning Essentials. That is pertinent. That date is Tuesday, January 16th from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. That location says Oscoda Township. Now,
That's a nice little ride.
that's
It is.
above the thumb, ain't it?
Yes, if I may.
Go right ahead.
So I wanted to pull out the upcoming training opportunities. So this is one through the Michigan Association of Planning. The Oscoda Township has partnered with them to offer this workshop to anyone in the state. I realize the travel, that's quite a bit of travel, and it's a whole day. It's kind of in the middle of the week, so it might not be viable for most people. There will be other training opportunities. They do offer these planning and zoning essential workshops pretty frequently. There's also a virtual academy where they will offer these virtually. I don't want you to think this is the exhaustive list of the only opportunity you'll get to go through that course. Like I said, my hope is to every month just offer you the upcoming in the next month training opportunities.
That's great. Thank you. I think the virtual ones will probably be more conducive
Yes.
to everyone's traveling time. Because I know for a fact if you go all the way to Oscoda and come back to Inkster, you may scold us if you don't come back with a brick of gold. And now we're down to site plan review.
Brick of gold.
Yeah. Hey, that's a lot of travel. You gonna want something for your time.
That's 3 hours each way.
Yeah. And it ain't nobody putting you up anyway. Site plan review workshop. Date is Tuesday, January 16th, 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m.
It's concurrent with the other workshop.
Yeah, I see.
I just,
Yeah. They're both in Oscoda.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. And again, is that a virtual option as well? Or
In the future, there will be virtual options. They are working on creating more of a like choose as you go. So you pay a flat fee and then you can choose and create your own schedule as well. With the redevelopment ready certification, it's a couple of hours in the evening through that course from January 23rd to February 27th. So the span of time, it's kind of nice. It breaks it up and makes it a little more digestible.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Any questions about the training opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, or commissioners? I'm sorry.
And there's no budget for that either, is there?
Mayor Pro Tem, got you.
I will add.
It's a tax write-off.
Okay.
I haven't been able to chase this thread to its origin point, but in some of the old documentation, we did find that there was a modest amount put aside from the general fund to allow for planning commission trainings. And so I just need to verify with the treasurer that those funds are still available, but they, in theory, should be there. So if you are interested in attending, we're happy to help coordinate that for you.
See, I was thinking on how to process my words before Jane jumped in to say what I
Okay.
was saying. So we're great. Thank you, Ms. Dixon.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say, at times, the planning department as well as the administration has sought different funding options when there are pertinent things that commissioners want to take the trainings for. It's just a fact of the matter. The commissioners really making it known that, hey, I want to go to this. I think this will be conducive to what we do. Because other than that, a lot of times, and I don't mean just us, but in any communities, people get on the boards, they sit there, they don't go through those trainings, and then sometimes the general public knows more than the commissioners, and they challenge them on things of that nature.
Right.
So, we're down to item number 9, second hearing of the public for items not scheduled for a public hearing or on the agenda. This is an opportunity for anybody from the general public to come up to the podium, state your name for the record, and make public comment.
Kimberly Faison again. So for our new commissioners, you may not know that the Planning Commission had a committee called the Redevelopment Ready Communities Committee. And that committee has worked for the last 2 years to go through a state process to get the city certified. And it does a couple of things, like the process towards getting certification actually requires a community to adopt or update certain activities that make it ready to develop, to attract new development, to attract development dollars, to attract small businesses, to have sound planning practices, and a whole host of other benefits. Some of the activities that we completed include some of the things that you're talking about tonight. So we actually created processes for what it can look like for the city, both the administration, working with boards and commissions to attract volunteers, what it looks like to provide an orientation to people who are serving on boards and commissions, and what it looks like, what it could look like to have joint training with all boards and commissions. It was our recommendation that be done with all boards and commissions to the extent possible. And we did have joint trainings last year, 2 of them, one of which McKenna actually sponsored for us. That is another option for you to consider. My purpose for coming tonight is to really advocate that you all learn about redevelopment-ready communities and take it up and continue the work. The committee worked as on a voluntary basis. I'm willing to pass it along to people who will carry it forward. And I'm also happy to share all the information that I have. Jane was a huge support for us and did a lot of the staffing behind the scenes. And then once Derek joined, he also supported us. I think we might be about 30% complete in the process, and the work that we've done thus far does position us to apply for grant dollars. I believe we're eligible now, and the administration would be able to lead that effort. What could be eligible now would support things like land use planning efforts. So we are due to update our master plan, and that is something that you get to shepherd, which I hope is exciting to you. It's really exciting to me. And there are a number of other things that we could be eligible for some of those dollars. Plus, when we get certified, there are way more opportunities that we can tap the state for. And so Jane has, I think, most of the materials. There might be a couple things I didn't send you that I sent Derek. And, I'm sure we can make sure that you have access to everything. So whoever wants to continue shepherding that process, there is like a project management tool that the state uses that you can be onboarded on, or whoever you think is appropriate to kind of lead that. But I'm just advocating for you to become familiar with it, to embrace it, to encourage other boards and commissions to become familiar with it and shepherd that forward, because there are a lot of exciting things that we can do with that certification. And welcome to all the new members and welcome back to all the returning members. I'm really excited to see what you all will do. This is a very powerful body, a really important body. And I really think that this is an opportunity to kind of take us to a whole other level. We talked about what our town center district could be earlier. And you have the power to advance that along with colleagues across the city. So welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Faison. I just want to say, as you and those ad hoc committee members continuing shepherding those efforts.
Yeah.
Very
good.
Ms. Dixon.
If I may just add on to that, I had an exciting conversation with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation representative who works with us through this process on Friday, and so I couldn't add the update before the packet went out. But we were discussing the fact that the grassroots efforts here have been so recognized, in that it's because of those grassroots efforts that the MEDC is willing to go above and beyond their typical matching. So without full details and without a scope, they have indicated that they're willing to do more in terms of resources and funding for the master plan update and the zoning ordinance update. And in addition to that, the Michigan State Housing Department is also releasing a huge pot of money to help update zoning ordinances and master plans. And part of the conversation with our representative from MEDC, Stephanie Pina, she suggested that that this is, again, maybe a little bit atypical, but they would help support the MISHDA. If we use MISHDA funds, MEDC would also help match those MISHDA funds. We're really trying to lower the burden to update the master plan and the zoning ordinance from the city's perspective. So it was a really great conversation. It's really due to the grassroots efforts that Ms. Faison and some of the other board members have taken on. So they should be applauded, and the scope will hopefully work with the administration to get a scope together as those funds become available in January. And I do want to also recognize that your orientation packet did go to the new members, and the training strategy is being implemented. So they're not documents to sit on the shelf.
Thank you, and I hope those words of encouragement do show that the grass is greener in the pasture for the shepherd to continue to shepherd.
Right.
All right.
Your sentiments to the ad hoc committee, inclusive of yourself from this body, and we look forward to the continued work and anybody that you look forward to bringing on board as volunteers, as you're being voluntold to get. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate
Thank you. All right, good job.
If there's anybody else from the general public. See, we actually have fun, guys.
Sandra Watley, Inkster resident. I'm here today to talk about the air pollution in Inkster. I mentioned it earlier about you can't go 2 feet in any direction without smelling marijuana. And that's because we have 6, with 8 coming on board. One of the special considerations that you give when approving these things is smoke, fumes, glare, noise, vibration, and odor pollution. Now, it's pretty obvious that these people are not living up to this. Is there any teeth in this where we can make them comply? Because they gave us the run about scrubbing the air and making sure it didn't smell this way or smell that way, but it stinks. I mean, and the people who go there to get it, when they come to City Hall, you can smell them too, you know? So we need a scrubber at City Hall. What I did today is I went online and I found what the secondhand marijuana smoke does. Now, we're spending all this time talking about no child without a Christmas. How about no child without a lung? Because that's what's happening here in the city of Inkster. Our babies are smelling this. Our kids are getting contacts. And it says here that according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the known risk of secondhand exposure to tobacco smoke, including the risk to the heart and lungs, secondhand marijuana smoke contains many of the same toxic and cancer-causing chemicals found in tobacco smoke, and in some cases, in higher doses. So what we have to do, you as a body and council, have to develop some sort of ordinance or something where if these places don't comply with what they promised to do in the first place, then there's some mechanism here to get rid of them. I mean, and we're not talking about, a fine. They can afford a fine. Believe me, if you pay $5,000 a year to renew your license, you can afford a fine. So we have to have something with more teeth in it, more consequences. And I say that all of these things that you use to approve it with, if they do not comply with it, then they should be either suspended or revoked or whatever is necessary. Then again, this council or the council and planning needs to, they did a great thing already. They put a moratorium on any other openings of them. So that was one of the first steps that was good. But now they have to make an effort to make these people comply with our rules and regulations. And in doing that, reduce the number of these places, because right now there's a cap of 8 on marijuana facilities. We're only 6 square miles. That means we got more marijuana than we got miles, okay? So that's dumb. And then they said another thing is the cumulative effect that happens when these things, when there's air pollution and things like that. And they actually cite your location, your economics, your, hang on a second, in a minute. They're talking about things that affect Inkster. These are all part of, now I would read this whole thing to you all, but y'all want to go home, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured it so. But it says it consists of a combination of multiple pollution burdens, and the vulnerability factors that affect environmental quality and public health of a geographic area. It says a graphic illustration of I can't say that word. It means all stuff together. Cumulative impacts.
Cumulative.
In emerging evidence in the interrelationship between air pollution, population vulnerabilities like asthma and poverty, and the effect of different infections. Example of these pollution burdens and pollution vulnerability factors are, as well as they have an EJ, what they call mapping tool. But there are things like, examples are discrimination, income, housing, transportation, and the availability of health services. All of that is what we have. And at this point, we have to stop allowing things to happen to us and start making people. We live here. They make money here. They put their pollutants in the air, and then they go home. And we are the ones that have to suffer with it. So I'm charging this planning commission with finding a mechanism, writing an ordinance, making it that if they agree to these things and you pass their ordinances, then they have to do something, that they have to be held accountable. And they are not being held accountable now. And like I said, nobody can sit here and tell me they haven't gone down Inkster Road or Michigan Avenue and not smelled it. It's horrible. It comes right through your car. Right now, we're dealing with a situation where at Inkster and Cherry Hill, their license was revoked. They're still open. And they're suing us.
Ms. Wiley?
How do you... I can't say that. Yeah, I know.
The information that you have, would you be so kind as to forward it to our planning department so they could get it to us? And then secondly, those concerns about the basically parts per billion in the air that's being released, where conversation came up in the past. I know, Ms. Dixon, some way, shape, or form we discussed about EGLE or EPA or the MRA getting involved. So I just want to know, is there any further developments with that you could express to Ms. Watley right now?
So in April of 2023, when the City Council approved the amendments to the marijuana ordinance, that did include further requirements in terms of the air filtration for the systems.
Okay.
And that was based off of EGLE's newly defined requirements as well. If there are concerns that there are establishments that are out of compliance, I would advise that they be referred to the city or reported directly to EGLE. If you refer them to the city, I would report them to EGLE, and that would bring that compliance arm as well as the city's code compliance into effect. So it would be beyond simply the city saying, no, you can't be doing this, this is not in compliance with our standards. It would also be bringing the state into that as well.
Okay, so basically that's a step that we potentially need to take, and or residents that are voicing those concerns to the city to initiate that compliance arm.
Yes.
Okay.
That means nothing to me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, I have to sit down now?
Well, you
Is
said
that
it means
it?
nothing, so
No, it
we're-
doesn't mean anything. That's the same thing you've always said to these people. I've seen people sitting that come up here and complain about this. And I'm complaining about it now. Nothing happened when they did it. I want to know what you all plan to do now. You're going to report them to EGLE. Is that it?
The state of Michigan.
And then what? Well, in the meantime, we're still smelling this. We still have no teeth and no effect to do anything to these people other than sit and inhale their garbage.
Renault.
Well, actually, the ordinance does give us a mechanism not to renew the licenses if they're not complying with our ordinances, so, and state law. So if EGLE comes in and tests, because we don't think we have the ability to enforce, we don't have that. If they came in and test and said, okay, they're over whatever, the limit, then we can then not renew or revoke the license based on that test.
Okay, when do we get them here?
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to call, no. As you tell us.
You think I won't?
I know you will. As you tell us the particular business, then we can report it to EGLE.
Okay, there's the Flower Bowl Papa Bowl 2 down there at Michigan Avenue and Inkster Road. There's all of those up and down. Yes, they are emitting this garbage into our air, and you're allowing it. They're killing our children, and you're allowing it.
So at this point, all of them, we want reviewed and
Yes.
tested by EGLE.
Yes.
For compliance.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I get to sit down now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the general public who wishes to speak for items not scheduled for a public hearing or on the agenda? Alrighty, seeing no movement. The last thing, I got word that we won't have another council meeting until the new year, and of course, we won't have another planning commission meeting. A public official from a neighboring community in the city of Romulus, Councilwoman Eva Webb, has passed away.
What?
She passed away Sunday from stomach cancer.
Yes.
So I know she had been sick. I didn't know it was that severe, and I received that information since we've been here. So I just wanted to share that with you all in the event that you didn't know her or family, so on and so forth. So I'm sorry for that bad news, but I did want to express that. We're down to adjournment. Item number 10. The floor is open for a motion.
I move to adjourn.
Support.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. This meeting is now adjourned at 8:26 p.m.
Sherry, you was actually funny tonight. I like that.
Do you want the